Well, with that very odd introduction, would you please welcome Neve McIntosh? Welcome to Ottawa, Neve. Hello. Oh, no, you're not. Hello. Here.
Okay. Hello. Yay! There I am. Hello, everyone.
And I'm on too. There you go. So
yeah.
Hey.
Oh, excellent.
So I think there's going to be lots of people wanting to answer some questions, but maybe I'll ask a couple of questions while people are taking up the mics. How does that sound? So I can ask a couple of questions while people come in?
Of course.
Okay. So I was just curious. So what was it like to get the phone call that said, you're going to play a Silurian in Doctor Who?
In a word, awesome. Absolutely awesome. I've been a mad daft Doctor Who fan since I was a kid. And it's been, every Saturday night, me and my brother hiding behind the sofa, watching Doctor Who. So when I heard they were bringing back the Silurians, I was like, great, I'll get this big red eye that goes, although that didn't happen. But I think I jumped up and down quite a bit.
Did you then go, oh, that's going to require 4 hours in the makeup chair?
I didn't quite realise until the first day that we did the makeup test of just exactly what I got myself in for. They showed me a beautiful picture of the design, some of the artwork for the design for it. And I thought, oh great, that looks really cool. And but then when we did the first test of all the makeup, it took about 6.5 hours to do it all. That was for the very, very first time. Obviously we got it down from that.
So how long does it take now?
3.5.
Do you just sleep during it, or how does it?
Yes, no, I
can. Wow. So you played basically 2 versions of, like, you played the characters you played in The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, but then you played Madame Vastra. How did it feel to sort of be able to reboot the character you were playing and play something totally different and totally much better in many ways?
Well, to play a goodie as well, to play
exactly.
someone who comes and backs up the Doctor in this huge, massive battle. It was amazing, because I thought I'd done my stint, I'd done my moment in Doctor Who, and that was me. And then when we got this phone call, and Dan was on the phone to me, and so was Katrin. Actually, I think I heard about it through Katrin before my agent told me. It's a grapevine. And I was just like, what? No, we're coming back. I'm coming back. What are we doing? And it was incredible. You got these scripts in, all watermarked with your name, so you couldn't lose it, because then you know where it came from. And it was just like, oh my God. And I think my brother has been, because he is the one I go to if I need any books of Doctor Who or anything on DVD, because he has everything. So he's always been the one that I phoned up going, guess what? Yeah!
And now, a lot of actresses love being able to dress up in costume and stuff like that. So, how does it feel to dress up in the full Victorian bodices and all that sort of stuff, and have all the veils? And is it something you like?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because I loved the first time when Vastra came in A Good Man Goes to War. Because it was sort of like quite manly, and I had my swords, and I thought, oh, that's great, kick-ass, And then when Howard came on to be the costume designer in the last series, he went, he says, I love the kick-ass thing, we're keeping the swords, but we're going to make you a real lady who kicks ass. And I thought, okay, I can go with that. And then when he brought out all these amazing colours and frocks, I thought, how am I going to be able to run around in that? But we made it work, and I love it. It's so much fun.
Why don't we start taking some questions from people? If you got, I think the mic's up there, and if you want to come on up,
come on, don't be shy.
Feel free, don't be shy. It's all good. Well, while people are waiting, I can ask another couple of questions. That's just fine. I'm curious to know because you're now part of a gang. You have Jenny and you have Strax, and what is it like to act with those two? Because it feels like it must be a fun party every time you do a Doctor Who now.
It is now so much fun. We all get along so well, and I can't wait when I get back to London. We're all hooking up for a Christmas drink, because we've all been sort of off doing our own things as well. But it's just so much fun. I'd actually done a job with Katrin in theatre before I found out that she was playing my girlfriend and now wife. So that was brilliant fun, and it's become think it's become one of the most fun things I've ever done, especially when we get to see all of Strax's outfits, because when he got made up as the butler with that top hat, we just couldn't stop laughing. It's the best.
What's it like to act with Dan Starkey? I've seen him on stage. He seems like a lot of fun.
He's one of the funniest men ever. Has everyone seen the little Strax Sings Christmas on YouTube? Yeah, and they're great. That was mainly Dan, but Dan and I one sleepy morning getting made up and just starting a bit of banter and a bit of a laugh. And he just started to make up the songs, and by the time we got on set, we told Matt and Saul, the director, they went, "It's a great idea," and just before lunch we went, "Right, quick, fire them off, do them." And then that's it, it's gone down in a little bit of history, but yeah, we think you should do more. We think you should come out with a love songs compilation. It'll be really good, yeah. And maybe an Elvis impersonation. So, yeah.
Strax croons the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Great American Songbook by Strax.
I think we have some questions now, so
Yeah?
Come on up.
Hi, welcome back.
Hey, hello.
I got 2 questions. This is really short for me. 2 questions. First question, are you going to be with the new Doctor? Are you doing any episodes with the new Doctor?
I can say yes, I will be.
Okay, awesome. And the second question, since you guys have your own little group, are they going to do a spin-off like they did for Tourist Way? That would be awesome.
It would be, but I would love that to happen. We would all love that to happen. And so many people have been asking about it. At the moment, I don't know. It could happen. It might not. It depends. I think because it's Stephen Moffat's baby. And if he can stop writing Sherlock and Doctor Who for a moment, so he can write mine, our spin-off, then I think it might happen.
Maybe an off-season or something?
Well, I think, maybe a movie,
Yeah. Alright, thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Hey.
Hi, I also have 2 questions.
Cool.
I'll start off with a funny one. Are there any pranks that happen on set that you could share with us?
Oh God, trying to think. Pranks. We tend to just always sort of grab Dan and Strax and sort of just rub his head for luck. And also we started doing sort of like body checking each other, because Dan, when he's in his costume, he's got like these big boobs underneath. He does, because Santanans are both, they're hermaphrodites. So it tends to be silly things like that, not actual practical jokes, but you just make me think that I should do some. Exterminate me on a post-it on his back or something.
If you could post that to YouTube, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
My second question was just you and Jenny's relationship I think it was just so great for Doctor Who. And have you gotten any positive feedback or any unfortunate negative feedback?
I've had no negative feedback about it whatsoever, which just really pleases me so much, isn't it? It's just, I love it, thank you. And I thank Stephen Moffat for the way that he wrote it, because it is something that is just, it's just there, it's just normal, and that's it. No bangs and gongs, this is the nature of who we are, and I love that about it, and I love that everyone's embraced it. I've not heard anything bad about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I have 2 questions also.
They're like 2-part questions here in order.
Who was your first Doctor?
I suppose my first Doctor was Tom Baker. Yeah, I am that old. I'm sure, though, I can remember my very first memory, but it might just be because I've revisited so much for so long, was I'm sure I remember John Pertwee turning into Tom Baker, because I remember the Planet of the Spiders freaking me out so much. Here's Sarah Jane with her giant spider on her back. But yeah, Tom Baker.
And what was it like working with Matt and Jenna again?
Awesome. He's such a lovely, lovely man, and really inventive and so full of energy, and it makes it easy. And we now, I suppose now that I'm part of that sort of family, it has become, we all went out one night and actually we were on the dance floor and Matt came over and just grabbed me and went, "You're part of the family now," and jumped around with me, and I'm like, yes, I am. singing, great fun.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hello.
Hi. So another project that you were involved in that I really love is Single Father. David got me there, but you know, I enjoyed it once I was there. I was just wondering if you had any stories about that experience. I really loved it.
Thank you. I loved it too because I have friends who've worked with David Tennant because it's that Scottish connection. Everybody sort of knows everybody through everybody ad infinitum, and it was a really interesting thing to do because it was about such a sombre thing. But I remember we all went out we took the kids that were in at Tenpin Bowling so we could all bond, and it got really, really competitive. They were just really competitive, and I'm like, right. You still won, but yeah, it was, I found him wonderful, really, really calming and gentle to work with, because I had to play, you know, not the nicest person in the world, or not the most liked person in the world, and he was really lovely.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool.
I have two questions. What was your favorite episode with Matt Smith?
Oh, that's difficult. There's so many good ones. I love the silence, and I love the silence with the Daleks. I love that one. Obviously, the Crimson Horror that I'm in. That's kind of my favourite one. But yeah.
What's your favorite monster from Doctor Who?
It has to be Daleks. It just from my childhood. One of my most memorable episodes was Genesis of the Daleks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm very excited to hear that you're coming back for the new series. And I have to ask, have you already filmed with Peter?
No, I haven't already filmed with Peter. They don't start the new series, I don't think, until
February.
Is it February? February they start. Thanks. So you see, I'm so in the loop. Not as the Doctor anyway. I've not filmed with him as the Doctor, but years ago I did film with him.
Do you know how many episodes you're coming back for?
No idea. They don't tell me. Last year I went down to film for a week, and I ended up staying for 2 months. So I don't know. Come on, Mr. Moffat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. So I guess if you can't get Stephen to lower his workload enough to come off and work on your spin-off, you should just convince him to hand it off to Mark Gatiss, since he seems to enjoy doing those Victorian period pieces anyway. He's done a fair number of them in the new series.
Yeah.
But a question I do have, you being, with Tom Baker being your first Doctor, and you being that much of a movie in that era, maybe you can help settle a friendly debate I have with, or just your opinion on something of a friend of mine.
Okay.
Mary Tam or Lala Ward, which Romana?
Oh. For me, personally, as a brunette, Mary Tam. Yeah! Oh, come on, first shot, and she's just standing there with her leg like that. Come on, yeah.
I'm a little disappointed with that, thank you.
No, that's all right. Thank you. Hello.
So, Karen Gillan, who made Yukon, we saw her first in the fires of Pompeii before she was cast as Yukon. Is there any chance of you doing that in reverse, showing up without the costume as yourself as a character?
Oh wow, yeah, I would love that. If they could do but not as Vastra, just have me.
Yeah.
We actually had an idea if we'd had the time. But we never had the time, we were so busy with filming last year, that it would be great just to have, say, me and Dan just walk past as a couple and just see if anyone noticed. So, look out, we might get that in another time. Thank you.
More of a general question. Do you have any advice for young and budding actors, things that you've sort of learned through the years that have helped you become successful in your chosen profession?
Wow. No, it's a brilliant question, but it's just follow your heart and your passion and don't give up. I've been at sometimes, you know, going, I can't do this anymore, I've not had an audition for 8 months, I don't know what I'm going to do, maybe I should just give it all up, go back to working in an office or go around the world, but I didn't stop. I didn't give up. And I think that's probably one of the most important things, is not to give it up. Because at any moment something like Doctor Who can come along, because before Doctor Who came along I was going through a bad patch. And I had not really worked for a while. And then the audition came along, I went for it as per usual, kind of thinking, oh yeah, it'll be lovely, what a dream. But it did work, it did happen, so just keep going, I think.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Yeah. Hi.
If you get to choose something that you would like to do, is there anything that you haven't done as Vastra that you would like to do in a spin-off or on the show?
Oh wow. Definitely fight the Daleks. She's not done that yet. I want to do that. Yeah, go for another spin in the TARDIS. Would be fun. Got everything. Save the world. Save the universe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hello.
One of my favourite parts about Doctor Who is the music that they had in the background. What was it like to be at the Doctor Who proms?
That was quite awesome. The proms, I didn't know what to expect, and I haven't done anything that's sort of turning up to make an appearance, you know, actually in character live, because everything's filmed. It was the hottest day of the summer in London as well. It was about, you know, it's 30 centigrade, and you walked out, and we were nervous anyway, so all I could feel was sort of this like river of sweat running down my back. But it was incredible. All the music was amazing, and you got to just sit at the side and hear this full orchestra playing all the Murray Gold's music. It was incredible. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
That's awesome. Also, who is your all-time favourite companion?
I think now, see, because of my Tom Baker years, it would have to be Leela. I really liked her. Yeah, she was always, see, I was such a tomboy. There she was in her skins, looking quite hot, I have to say as well. And she was always ready with a knife, just chilling. Come on. Whereas the Doctor would have to calm her down. So yeah, I liked her.
Okay, cheers.
Cool.
You said you worked with Peter Capaldi in the past. What was it on?
My very first TV show in the UK was a thing called Psychos. It was a 6-part drama about a psychiatric hospital in Glasgow on Channel 4, and he played a patient that I got to interview as a psychiatrist to a patient.
What was it like to work with him, especially as a young actor?
Yeah, and his wife was on the programme as well, Elaine Collins, his wife, so it's a whole family affair. But he's amazing. Just, I can't wait, I I don't care what I'm doing with him, I just can't wait.
I'm curious to know, what did you sort of, when you have a play or a long-term relationship on television, do you sort of work with the other actor on it? So when you're working with Jenny, I mean, did you sort of talk to her about, you know, how are we going to, this is how we're going to sort of show we're a couple? Was there any of that kind of thing going on?
Yeah, lots of times, because you know you're given the bare bones of the script, so and your sort of brief of who you are, so you've got to work in little bits, and we would always be discussing: is it here we can just hold hands, or you know, what more can we do? And we would always sit and work on our backstory, how we met, what we thought where our skills came from, and all the rest of it. So yeah, and it's constant. We constantly keep sort of updating ourselves.
What would you say is your favorite of the episodes you've been in Doctor Who?
I like them all. It's really difficult. I mean, I did love the Crimson Horror because it felt like our episode, a wee bit more that Matt turned up in our episode. It's a blasphemy to say. But, and I loved A Good Man Goes to War when she first showed up. I thought it was brilliant, yeah.
I think we actually have a question from the audience.
I'm wondering when you found out that Dame Diana Rigg was going to be in one episode, and what was your first thought when you were like, was it like, oh my gosh?
Yeah, it was.
And what was it like working opposite her? Because I think there was a couple couple of scenes. Well,
I got very
so-
little
Yeah.
to do with her, it was more at the end, but yeah, when I heard it was like, oh my good grief, and also that her daughter, Rachel, was going to be in it, and Rachel and I actually ended up getting on really well, we're still in touch. She's another awesome lady, chip off the old block, but it was quite, because she's Dame Diana, so there's that kudos that comes with that, so we were almost at one point curtsying of, hello, how are you? And she's just like, yeah, I'm alright, just normal, really normal, but yeah. I was quite, I remember speaking to my mum on the phone going, Dame Diana Rigg's going to be in this one, Dame Diana Rigg. She's like, oh, that'd be good. So.
Just because everybody else likes to ask you questions, is there somebody in that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with yet? Not necessarily in Doctor Who, like anything.
So many people. I would love actually to work with John Hurt. He would be someone I would absolutely love to work with. My God, there's so many amazing people out there. Pretty much everyone, I think. It's easier to chalk them off that I have than possibly. Helen Mirren, she would be another person I'd love to work with. George Clooney. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Did you have this?
Since you mentioned that you had worked it out, how did Jenny and Vastra meet?
Well, we reckon that I saved her on the street one night in an old foggy London town. But we wondered as well that because of her mad skills that she might have been, that also they might have crossed paths in the circus with Madame Vastra maybe have been imprisoned in a freak show, and Jenny's helped save her in a way, and then Vastra saved her back in a way. So there's a common bond founded there. That's what we figured.
Aww.
Yeah. And we love each other very much. Yeah. You're welcome.
Something that always surprised me about you is that you are a big fan of Doctor Who. That you now okay. So I've got to ask. What piece of do you have any Doctor Who collectibles from when you were a kid that you still have even today?
I don't, but my brother does. My brother is the big sort of, because I mean, really, he was the one that got all the Doctor Who magazines and all the Star Wars toys as well that I got to play with. So really, it's all his stuff. The only collectibles I've got now are my figurines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was curious to ask about. You've worked with a lot of really great actors in Doctor Who. I mean, not just Dame Diana Rigg, but others. I mean, who was your favorite of the ones that you got to work with recently?
Oh God, so many. I mean, I loved meeting Mark Gatiss, who wrote Crimson Horror, because I've been a fan of the League of Gentlemen since it began, and I found he's just a glorious human being. And to work with Stephen Moore on the very first Silurian. He was the old leader of the Silurians that came out, because he's the original voice of Marvin the robot on The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah, exactly. It's Stephen Moore. I'm such a geek. But and that was incredible. I think he was just wonderful. Just someone that you wanted to sit and chat to all the time.
Now, you said you mentioned you're such a geek. Do you have these moments when you're suddenly in the middle of filming in Cardiff and you go, oh my God, I'm actually making Doctor Who and I'm with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy actors and Star Wars actors. What?
I do. Oh God, I'm going to have to admit this. Yeah. When they brought out the brand new console room, and I was getting to film on it with Matt, I was like that. Oh my God, oh my God. And I walked on, and our script supervisor turned to me and he just went, do you know who the first person other than Matt to film in the new console room? Yes! And then they threw the switch and it started to whir around at the top, and I completely lost it and seen and went, whoa, cool! Matt's just like that. You're a 12-year-old boy.
Good question up here.
Hello.
Hello.
Just a quick question. What's your favorite fan universe outside of Doctor Who?
My what, sorry?
Your favorite,
Fan universe?
yes, be it sci-fi, fantasy, whichever.
Oh, I'm a big Star Wars fan. The original 3, by the way. Yeah, exactly. What? 1, 2? No. It started at number 4. A New Hope, didn't it? Yeah, I love my sci-fi, I have to say. And yeah, Alien. It's quite cool. Oh yeah, scary though. But no, I suppose actually after Doctor Who, Star Wars.
I know I said one, but I just changed my mind. What's your favorite book series?
Oh, book series. Do you know what? I want to read it again. Years ago, I got given, I can't remember the actual name of the fantasy series, but it's by a writer called Catherine Kerr. Do you know? And it's.
Hi, Gary?
I don't know. It's Rodri and someone, but they keep being reborn in a different time, and it's like they have to try and relive their lives each time to get. There's about 7 or 8 books, I think, maybe more in the series, but yeah, I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to join you in some blasphemy.
Good.
I have never seen a single episode of Doctor Who. Ever. Don't me.
Should be like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I knew that's the reaction I was going to get.
Excellent. Welcome, freak.
Thank you. I am a nerd just like you, don't worry.
I love you. It's okay.
So, you seem to be a Doctor Who expert.
No.
Expert-ish. Where do I need to come into watching Doctor Who to understand what Doctor Who is and to sort of be brought up to the current canon and what's out there right now? Where do I need to come in and start watching it? Short of going back to like the very first episode ever, but give me a timeline of where and when I should jump in.
Ooh. And
There's a lot of people
I'll
saying
an answer for you.
yeah.
A lot of people are saying Rose from 2005, the first Doctor Who episode from 2005.
Yeah, with Eccleston.
And what's a sonic screwdriver? I really don't know.
It's the most magic gizmo in the entire universe. Opens doors, does everything apart from cook your food, I think. Oh. Hey, there you go, there's one. There's 2.
You're awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a brave man. I want to ask about the voice you do when you play a Silurian. How did you come up with it? Because it is slightly different than yours. It's
very different from mine.
Yes, I was trying to be my Canadian.
It's incredibly different from my own. It's very sing-songy, I suppose. A bit more English, obviously, because I'm Scotch. But I like to use something that sort of mirrors the way she moves as well. But I like to keep, there is a tiny little bit of my Scottishness I keep in, which is she rolls her R's. She's got a huge tongue, it's got to move. So.
Because you came up with that voice before you even played Vastra. You were doing it in Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. Was it part of just a way of trying to figure out the character? Was trying to figure out what voice they had?
Yeah, it was trying to sort of neutralise and not place it anywhere. I mean, I suppose neutralising it for me, but then it might place it more English. But that's why I didn't want to take the Scottish totally out of it, so that it kept it not in a definite human place. It kept it somewhere a bit more otherworldly.
And you also mentioned your posture, because because there is a certain stance that you have when you play Vastra, and when you play. Was that sort of something you came up with as you played a Silurian for the first time, or was it just sort of evolved?
It kind of evolved when I heard that I was going for the Silurian parts. You guys must know David Attenborough here. Yeah, awesome, isn't he? God amongst men. So he brought out a fantastic series called Life in Cold Blood, which was all about lizards and reptiles. So I went straight out to the shops and bought myself a copy, and I basically just sat and watched loads of lizards That's all I did, was watch loads and loads of lizards and find a couple that obviously were very similar but different style movements, so that I could pick one for Alaya and one for Restac, and that helped inform sort of the movements. Especially Alaya, she was a lot more fluid, whereas Restac was a bit more like a monitor lizard. They run with their heads forward. And then, of course, when they put the makeup on you and you sit in front of a mirror going, oh my God, that's me, you start to sort of get a bit, okay, I can do that, and that looks good. And you start pulling faces, really, and checking out how good you look from a certain side. So that's it, all came about from that.
I think we have some questions again. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I was wondering if you kept any prop from the set or any of the dresses, or if you'd like to keep one day.
I would have loved to have taken my swords home, but yeah, not allowed. No, I mean you can't keep any of the dressings or the sets and the costume and stuff. But I did make off with a couple of my faces, because they get flung away, they get destroyed and flung away because you can just only use one a day. So I've got a couple of them stashed.
But if you were allowed to, what would you do?
Ooh. Actually, do you know what? From the very first ones, one of my ray guns. That would be cool. Even though it's just a little switch with a bulb. It's a ray gun. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. If you could choose to be the companion of anyone other than the 11th Doctor, as yourself or as the Neve McIntosh, who would you choose to be? And if you had your own spin-off show, who would you choose as a companion from the past to be your companion?
Oh wow. So what if I was to be any Doctor's companion? Which Doctor? Oh.
As yourself or as a...
I'd quite like to be myself. I have to say. I don't know, is it bad to hark back to Tom Baker again? Although I did love the Betsy, the previous Doctor, and the John Pertwee, and all the frills and the bit of purple velvet was quite cool. And who would I have? Out of all the companions, as my companion, with Vastra, apart from Jenny, don't tell her, don't tell the wife. Ooh. Who would I... Do you know what? Maybe Jamie, but maybe that's a Scottish thing. And I would have to have K9. I would have to have K9. That would just go as red, I think, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
I was wondering if you could talk about the differences, personality-wise, between Neve and Vastra and yourself.
Oh, there are some. Oh goodness, that's interesting. Personality traits. I don't eat people, she does. I'm vegetarian. Lots. I'm quite a bit younger than she is, so I haven't quite seen enough. What else? I think, maybe the one similarity, I think our sense of humour is quite similar. But, yeah, and I'm not quite so haughty and smug sometimes. Although maybe I am. Does that answer enough? I'll need to think of more.
That's great. Also, the series you're talking about, I believe it's called The Westlands.
The Westlands?
Yeah, by Kathleen Curry.
Oh, brilliant, thank you.
That takes place in the land of Beverly.
Yes, yeah, it's the...
I read it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Very much like this one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I must look it up again. Thank you. Thanks. Westlands, great.
Westlands, okay. Okay, good to know. We'll ask you a Doctor Who fan question because this is part of your coming out party as a Doctor Who. What was your favorite episode of classic or new series?
Oh, I did mention Genesis of the Daleks earlier. I did love that one. What others? There were some brilliant ones. The Brain of Morbius. I really liked the Brain of Morbius. That was really quite scary when he's stuck on the planet. He's going to lose his brain. What others? I thought the Silence still is one that stayed with me out of Matt's. And David Tennant's last one. I was speaking about it to someone yesterday. It's so Bernard Cribbins tapping on the box, and that's when you realise what it's all about. You're like, no! There's so many. But there's just a few. It's so hard to pick one.
Now, you've worked with a couple of different actresses who played companions. So, I mean, how do you like working with Jenna Coleman and Karen Gillan?
Oh, brilliant! I mean, I've gotten to know Jenna a lot more because I kind of feel like she's my companion, as it were, more than Karen was. But it was lovely meeting Karen and doing that little bit with her. We had quite a laugh when we had to tussle for the gun and I knock her to the floor. We had quite a good laugh about, Edinburgh on a Saturday night. Girls in Edinburgh on a Saturday night, yeah.
So, when Jenna was like, someone was like the first time she was playing Clara, was she nervous? Was there any kind of tension on set about this being her first time playing the role?
I think she must have been nervous, but she didn't show it. She was so, yeah. I mean, I think there is something that you learn as an actor as well, is how to front things out. No matter how nervous you are underneath, you've got a job to do, you've got work to be done, and that's what's got to be playful and fun. So, but I'm looking forward. I think I'm going to be working with her again as well. So,
what do you find the most fun and the hardest part about playing a monster on Doctor Who? I mean, not that Madame Vastra is monstrous in any way, shape, or form, no. but of course,
What the best and the worst of her? I think actually one of the worst things is being so encased in a lot of the makeup and the prosthetic that you can't hear a lot of the fun and frolics that are going on around you. Someone tells a joke and they're all laughing, you go, what? You feel like you're missing out on so much stuff all the time. And the best is just, when you play a scene, especially with Matt, and at the end of it, everyone on the set, all the crew just going, yeah, that was awesome because you did that, and there was that little bit, and Matt grabs you or something, goes, brilliant. So it's, that's the best.
That's great. Hi there.
Hello again.
Hello.
Thank you very much for giving me a vote for Mary Tam.
You're welcome.
I did have a question for you in regards to your affinity for weapons. In the course of your acting career, or even particularly on Doctor Who, have you undergone any kind of weapons training or martial arts training?
Yes, I have actually, yeah. I used to fence for my school in épée and foil, which has always given me a bit of a love for smashing bits of metal together. And actually, weirdly, before I got Madame Vastra, and they didn't know this about me at all, I studied Iaido briefly. My ex-husband was actually twice European champion in Iaido, which is the samurai sword form. Which is where, when it came to working with katana, I was like, oh, I actually know what I'm doing with this. That's great. I don't need the stud guys were brilliant as well, but I remember sitting actually. I was thinking about this the other day, sitting in a dojo in Japan watching proper sensei going through all the moves and stuff and how to properly draw your katana. And so that stayed with me and I've used it well.
Is there any other styles that you would like to try and incorporate maybe in the future?
Well, I did do a bit of Jodo as well, which is quite fun, which is just a staff form. You can use it in Aikido as well, but there is a proper Jodo form. But I would love, and I can't remember what it's got there then. What's it called? It's mainly women use it as well. Begins with an N, and I can't remember the name. It's a very long pole with a blade. Naginata, that's it. I would love to try that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my God, they're back.
We're here.
Someone's bringing you a chair.
They're going to bring me one. Yeah. Thank you. Is that mine as well? Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Hello. Is it? Smash it. Anyway. Yeah, it's good to be here. Hey, what's all this about? This is great, isn't it? All the way down there. Well, well, well. Here we are. And there you are. Do you want to ask some questions?
I am. My goodness, I was curious because, you know, obviously with you two and with Steve.
You two? Oh, they're a great band. I love them. I love you.
Yes,
Yeah,
with the two of you individuals, and Stephen Moffat and Peter Capaldi, I want to ask, are the Scottish taking over Doctor Who?
Aye.
Yes. Aye.
I mean, yes, indeed they are. The reason is, you know, because in Sauchiehall Street, there is a TARDIS, a permanent, an old police box from way back, and it's still there. And on a Friday night, you know, they have a bevy in Glasgow, they get a bit pissed, and they come up, and they're banging on the door saying, "Oh, hello, let me in. I want to be the bleeding doctor here, let me in." And every now and again, they open the door and grab someone and pull them in, and it's one of us, you see, that's Scots. So that's why there's so many Scots, because of this TARDIS in Glasgow. But I was very disappointed, though, with Stephen Moffat, that he didn't move the whole thing. Because it's in Wales now, and the Welsh, you know, they've got an accent like that, doo-doo, boyo. And, well, you know, all the Daleks are, you know, exterminate, boyo. Because they're all Welsh. I was looking forward to Scottish Daleks. They come up, oh, exterminate, Jimmy. And they'd be really scary. I mean, they really would exterminate. No, they're still very nice Welsh voices, you know, exterminate.
I think we have a couple of questions already. I've got nothing to follow.
I mean, questions, let's see, let's go down. No, anyway, well, I'll do that later. No, I'll go down later.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here. No idea who she is. Anyway.
Now you've heard her feelings. No.
For you two, what is it like?
You two! Great!
Well, what is it like when you go to the store and you see little plastic figures of yourselves?
How does it feel to have action figures of yourself?
Well, it's a bit worrying, because, you know, I think people take them home and stick pins in them. Because I ache all over, man. I'm so old. You know, my joints and things. I always had other pins being stuck in me by a Colin Baker fan.
What about you, Neve? How does it feel to see a Madame Vastra action figure?
There hasn't been a Vastra one yet.
Oh.
But no, I did like it when I went in and I just saw these little green things with bright blue eyes. Looking back at me, it's quite cool. Yeah.
It is actually. I was so proud. I never realised that when I was born in Dunoon, Argyll, Scotland, in the Highlands of Scotland, that I'd end up being a Lego man. I'm so proud. Yeah, you're a Lego person too.
I've got a Lego as well. Yeah.
Is it wonderful?
Hello. Just jump in. Don't.
So McCoy, I was just wondering how different it is doing the Big Finish audios compared to theatre and film.
Well, it is very different because you know, theatre is big. You know, you've got to paint with a big brush, so you can be seen and heard at the back of the theatre. Film is like painting with a fine Japanese brush, seconds, internal, and radio, audio is, you know, it's all in your head, coming out your mouth, and you're taller, handsomer, and the sets don't shake, and you know, so it's good. I love doing the audio stuff because you feel you get inside the Doctor's head more. You know, internalise much more. Whereas on television, you can't really internalise because it's a visual thing, and unless the only way you can really do it is when there's a voiceover, and you don't do that much. But on audio, you can get really inside, and I like exploring that part.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Sit.
Yes, hello.
Hi, I want to say welcome to Canada.
Thank you.
And thanks for being here.
And I feel a connection to both of you because my family's from Scotland, so it's an extra pleasure for me to meet both of you. And I'm just wondering if you would support an evolution of a female doctor, and Neve, would you be interested in playing her?
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know. I mean, does the Doctor turn into a woman? Because with the Romana thing, I was always, sure that there was the male and female rather than them swapping every generation or something. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why the Doctor can't. I mean, because he came down from, Gallifrey. He can take on any human likeness, I suppose he likes. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose it's possible. But, I mean, the nearest we got so far are 3 Scots, and we all wear kilts.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Next.
So, I was going to spoil it, but I don't want to do it anymore because. So, we all know the TARDIS changes interfaces with the different doctors. To both of you, which is your favorite interface, so inside of the TARDIS?
Which is your favorite console room of the TARDIS?
I don't know.
That one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you know that one. That one with the... up, down, and that...
Yeah.
That one, yeah. That one was my favourite.
But no, I like the one that I got. It was because in the Paul McGann... No, the Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann film. Yeah, not Paul McGann, Sylvester McCoy. Anyway, I like that one. Yeah, because it was steampunk. I like that. It's kind of... That was the one I'd always wanted when I was doing the Doctor for the BBC. So when I arrived in this one, for that film, I was so delighted. It's great. I enjoyed playing with it. It's my favourite. But yours sounds more interesting.
You, Neve, did you have a favourite of the two that were advanced on?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it when it all became so deconstructed and bits of wires and everything hanging everywhere and weird and wonderful bits and levers and stuff. Yeah, much more. Thanks.
There you go. Hello.
Hello, Sylvester.
That's me.
Thank you for bringing the 5-ish doctors. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay. Great.
2 questions. Were you actually under the sheet during the main filming? And how was Peter Jackson and Ian McKellen's involvement with that? How did they arrange that?
Well, question 1 is... That's the answer to that. Yeah. Question 2. Yeah, Peter Davison asked me to ask them, and I did. And Peter Jackson jumped at the chance, which was lovely. And I'm not sure, if I'd have asked Ian if he'd have done it, but I mean, Peter Jackson just told Ian he was doing it. So that was great. Ian's, kind of reply, the fact that I wouldn't be there, and that would be an improvement. That wasn't acting. No, it was great they did it. Wasn't it fun? It was such fun, that 5-ish Doctors reboot. What a cast list we had. You wouldn't believe it. We had, better than the 50th anniversary one. Cast list. Didn't we? Lots of people.
Was it all improv, or was it a lot of stuff written by Peter?
Peter wrote all of it. I mean, that was wonderful too, because I love that bit where he had Colin and I sitting next to each other, and Colin hands me sugar, and then I start quoting from one of my stories about sugar, and then Colin replies with a quote from one of his stories. And I thought, that's so clever of Peter to have even researched that and found it. It was really good. And so witty and so funny. And also the way he, even that thing of, we were hiding from the security men, and then we think we've done it, we've been inside the Daleks, and we've succeeded in getting into the 50th anniversary, and then we're walking down the road, and then they come out in front of us. Isn't that just that comic element, a visual element? And then the way, eventually, he exposed how we got into the 50th anniversary. It wasn't actually on screen, it was through the editing screen. Very clever man, Peter Davison. I didn't know he was until now.
Thank you. Do we have time for one more? Yeah, one more question, and then we're going to take a short intermission. So, anyway.
Mr. McCoy,
Mademoiselle.
your portrayal of the Doctor was different from those who preceded you. And what inspired you to act that way?
No, I don't know how to answer that, really. What do you mean, act that way? Is it act that way, or act that way?
Act that way!
Yay! Well, actually, ignorance. Because I hadn't seen Doctor Who for years. When I took over, I'd been an actor for many years, and we didn't have VCRs, or they were just coming in. We had no means of recording, and you lose touch with episodic shows. So I hadn't seen it, and it was only the first season I did it with my own kind of baggage, comedy baggage. I just brought that. I wasn't told how to do it. I just thought, well, I'll do it this way. And then I got to know the Doctor, and then realised this is one hell of a wonderful part to play, and you can go anywhere. So I started going into darker sides, and I wanted to bring back the mystery of the very first Doctor. Doctor Who? What is he? Is he nice? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he this? And so that's how I channeled it that way, when, just out of ignorance, really. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. So we're going to come back in about 15 minutes, and then we'll speak with Sylvester. So why doesn't everyone give a big hand to Neve McIntosh and Sylvester McCoy? Thank you very much.
Get out.